taking out my clutch and putting in the new one. I've already loosened all the bolts except for one. There's one, it's like, you know, down under over there. This guy, the one that goes on the very top up here of the bell housing, I took it out by hand. I just kind of reached down in there and put a socket over it just to get a better grip on it, and I just kind of turned it out by hand. Now, about 30,000 miles ago, no, I'd say about 20,000 miles ago, I had my transmission rebuilt. It was under warranty. I took it to a GM dealership, and in that time they said, well, we have to replace your clutch anyway because it's kind of foobarred. He's like, if you just get a clutch and we'll put it in. So that's when I bought my Monster Stage 2. So they put it back together. I guess they forgot to torque this one. It's a good thing it was still in there. Alright, so here we are under the car. I've already removed, you know, my faux catback, because I didn't really have a catback, just straight pipe. Took out the drive shaft, and then there's these two guys right here. Okay, there's two more. There's one here, and then there's one just above it, and the same on the other side. There's two pretty much just right above each other. Now the hardest one to get to is the one that is on the driver's side, and it's kind of, I guess, at the 11 o'clock position, maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock position on the bell housing. That's the hardest one to get to. You basically have to just get a bunch of extensions and a wobble, and put that on up there. Now I was reading online, people were using, they kept saying use a 13 here. Well, I believe this is a 13, yeah, 13, right? So you put it on there, and it's got a little bit of wiggle to it. So usually when that happens, when I put a 13 on there, I instantly know that it should be a half. Now you put a half on there, and there is absolutely no wiggle to it at all. Maybe the 13 is so it's not so snug, so it's a little easier for it to slip on, because the 1/2 inch on a couple of these was kind of a pain in the ass to get on there. So maybe just that little bit of wiggle room makes it a little bit easier for the socket to slide over top of the bolt. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, I already loosened all of these. I just have to get to that one up there. So you need to undo this guy, and you know, any other connector that you see attached. Okay, so you need to take all those off, and then if you have the stock factory line right here, there's this quick disconnect. There's just a little clip that goes around there. Just take the little metal clip off, and then you just pull the line out. Then I just kind of ratchet strapped it to a jack and a 2x4, and I kind of supported it, you know, held on to it, kind of guided it and pulled it back, while actually my wife lowered it down with the jack. Also, probably a good idea to take out your shifter, or just the shaft anyway, and then you just pull back and just slowly lower it down. And if you just hang on to it, it should balance on the jack fairly well. But I went ahead and just added insurance. I went ahead and ratchet strapped it around the arm of the jack, so just to make it a little easier. But so now that's out. Next up, just need to take this guy out, and I would do an install of the clutch, but there's plenty of people out there that have done installs on GTOs on YouTube, so I don't think there's really any benefit there. Alright guys, got it in there, easy peasy. It's gonna be an awful shame to cover all that up. That does look beautiful. Drain plug. Half to 3/8. So that worked really well. I've got 3 there, 2 there to put it at an angle. Just took out the drain plug, drained right in. Once all this finishes, I'm gonna plug it back up. Then I'm gonna take the shifter off. I'm gonna fill it up through the shifter. Since I have my transmission out of the car anyway, I'm just gonna fill through here. I'm gonna put in 4 quarts. It's supposed to take 3.8. I think 0.2 is gonna make a big deal. So here we go. Transmission's back in, torque down, and done. Got the exhaust all back bolted down. Friend of mine, Isaac, he came over to help me stab the transmission back in. I'll put his Instagram now. And follow him if you want to. He does a lot of stuff on his Insta. So that's in there. The tune should be in a couple days. So the other thing is this coupler right here. Well, if you give it a little one of those. So hopefully that's not an issue. This one here isn't so, because there's a lot of metal pipe in there. But this one, not so much. So my solution to that would be get one of these guys that I cut. You know, I'll clean it all up, obviously, and then stick it like right in here. What that'll do is keep this thing from collapsing so much. I mean, if it just did like that, I'm not gonna worry about that. I did an oil change on it. Saw that it did the transmission. All I have to do is burp this guy, and I already did this guy. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.